I'm Blair Ranford. All my life I've had a passion for the ocean, especially its most famous inhabitant, or some would say infamous, the sharks. And every year since 2006, I've travelled to South Africa to learn more about the most famous shark of all, the great white.
This is one of the sharks that caused the evacuation.
Wherever you go, white sharks generate passionate debate, and no more so than here in Western Australia. In recent years, we experience a tragic series of attacks, and as a result, there's barely a week that goes by without them making the news.
I was so scared, and then I was just swimming really fast out of the water.
With this increased focus, we hear a lot of stories about these sharks and their movements. But are they all really accurate? And if not, how do we tell the fiction from the fact? We're going to take a look at some of the common myths and see what the truth is behind all the hype. For Australians, the day at the beach is a much loved part of our culture. And as we move towards summer, we begin our annual migration back to the beach in ever increasing numbers. But as we do so, there is another migration taking place, the return of the great white shark to our coastal waters. These increased sightings of sharks are often close to shore. This can cause widespread concern and anxiety, heightened by the constant media reporting. The question becomes, why are they here? Is this only a recent phenomenon, or is it simply a natural and seasonal event? Similar to Western Australia, the Cape Coast of South Africa experienced a series of great white shark attacks in the mid-2000s. Their coastline shares many similarities with the southern regions of Australia, including increased sightings close to popular beaches at this time of year. I've come to find out why. Alison Towner is a great white shark biologist who works with the Dyer Island Conservation Trust. She has been studying these local populations of great white sharks for years aboard the research vessel Lawazi, meaning seeking knowledge in the local Xhosa language. Her research involves tagging and tracking sharks.
You want to idle over this way?
We asked Alison why these sharks were here.
The phenomenon of great white sharks coming close to coastlines in summer is often portrayed in the media as being a little bit of a worry or a concern. Now here in South Africa, great white shark presence is notoriously higher in summer months by the coastlines, and this is not something new. It's something that this country have been aware of for many years, and it's a natural physical movement, I suppose, that this predator makes in conjunction with available prey sources. But it really is not a sort of threat or a concern. It's just something natural that we need to, I suppose, just take within our stride whenever in summer months in South Africa we consider using the beaches and the waters.
Cape Town, a city of just under 4 million, have spotted over 1,700 white sharks at beaches in 10 years. Yet there has been no cull. This is thanks largely to public education, information shared from research programs, and beach signage. Local government has been proactive in reducing human-shark interactions, a community-driven shark spotters program, the use of exclusion nets rather than catch and kill nets, and more have all helped people to adjust to the seasonal presence of great white sharks close to shore.
It's actually quite a complex series of reasons as to why we might see great white sharks inshore, but one misconception is that they are foraging for humans. The reality is, if you take a plane and you do an aerial survey over this whole coastline here in South Africa, you will probably count quite a few great white sharks in by beaches, regardless of human activity, throughout the entire year. It's a completely normal phenomenon, and it's certainly not something new.
Back in Western Australia, we also experience a spring migration of both humpback and southern right whales. Sharks often shadow these whales, looking for sick and dying individuals. This humpback whale was seen off Perth this year, sick and very close to shore. As the number of whales migrating past our coast increases, we can expect more dead whales.
Great white feeds on a whale carcass. Earlier in the day, tiger sharks tore into the flesh just 4 kilometres east of Rottnest Island.
These produce a seasonal boost of energy-rich food for sharks of many species, including the great white. We also see seasonal aggregations of schooling fish, sea lions, dolphins and New Zealand fur seals, which figure prominently in the diet of large great white sharks. The number of hours flown by the Surf Life Saving WA helicopter has also increased. In turn, it's no surprise they're reporting more sharks. Yet when you break the stats down to sharks seen per hour, there's no difference in the number of sharks being seen now compared to previous years. Simply put, if you spend more time looking for sharks, you'll see more.
Certainly what has begun to happen over the last sort of 3, 4, 5 years is that social media has become very much the effective tool at reporting daily sightings of great whites. So people are now not only seeing white sharks, but they're also reporting it on social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter, and I suppose our overall general awareness of these predators is now massively increased by these platforms.
The increase of tagged white sharks, whilst highly commendable and an invaluable tool for learning about these sharks, can also have unexpected consequences. These sharks now set off receivers at popular beaches, often multiple times in a short period. It's easy for people to get scared by this and see these visits to popular beaches as a frightening new development.
Is anybody near the water? Keep them out.
But the reality is, the sharks have always been there. We just never used to have the tagged sharks telling us where they were. Whilst knowledge is power, sadly some seem unable to cope when provided with just that. We've got a beautiful great white shark just cruising here at the inshore reaches, and this is a natural event. They do this seasonally every year, both here in South Africa and back in my home of Western Australia. Completely natural event.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. When you take the time to look more closely, it's clear there is every reason for white sharks to frequent beaches at this time of year. Whether these beaches are popular with us is not a consideration in the shark's movements. They're a wild animal in a wild environment, and that wilderness begins the moment you step into the water. By arming ourselves with the best available knowledge and taking advantage of non-lethal measures, we can continue to enjoy the ocean we love so much. And we can do it while understanding and accepting the place of one of the world's apex predators, the great white shark.